Hi, beautiful soul. Thank you for being here today. I'm really so happy to see you again. Okay, so let's get started. So, there's a presence approaching your energy field that your soul already recognizes, even if your conscious mind doesn't know their face yet. And this isn't about romance in the typical sense, though romance might be part of it. This is about completion. About two halves that have been operating separately finally coming back into proximity, about frequency matching that creates resonance so strong it's almost destabilizing, about meeting someone and feeling like you've known them forever because some part of you has. I know how twin flame language can sound mystical, exaggerated, like spiritual fantasy that people use to romanticize regular relationships. But what's coming toward you transcends those categories entirely. This person, whether they're romantic partner, creative collaborator, spiritual mirror, or some combination that doesn't fit neat labels, is going to reflect back to you every part of yourself you've been hiding, healing, or hoping to become. And that reflection will be both the most beautiful and most uncomfortable thing you've experienced in human connection. Some people spend entire lives searching for this kind of meeting, going through relationship after relationship, wondering why nothing feels quite right, why even good partnerships feel slightly off, why there's always this sense of close but not quite, no matter how compatible someone seems on paper. It's because they're calibrated to different frequency and designed for different type of connection. Waiting consciously or unconsciously for the specific resonance that only comes when you meet your match, not just a match. You're about to understand the difference viscerally, experientially, in ways that make every previous connection suddenly make sense as preparation rather than failure. Let's pause here. This reflection invites you to consider, have you felt like you've been waiting for something or someone without being able to articulate what you're actually waiting for? Maybe every relationship has felt like rehearsal, like you were learning the steps but never quite performing the actual dance. Like you were getting closer to understanding what you wanted but never quite arriving at the person who embodied it. That's because you were rehearsing building capacity, developing yourself into someone who could handle what's coming. When this person appears, the recognition won't be subtle. Your body will respond before your mind understands why. Heart rate changes, breath shifts, time distorts. Everything around you becomes background noise and they become foreground focus in ways that feel involuntary, almost overwhelming in their intensity. Some people describe it as deja vu, others as immediate comfort with someone they just met, still others as electric charge that's simultaneously exciting and terrifying. The common thread is intensity that feels disproportionate to the actual circumstances of the meeting. You might meet in completely ordinary setting, coffee shop, work event, mutual friends party, random encounter on street. The external circumstances won't be dramatic, but the internal experience will be seismic. Everything in you will recognize everything in them, and that recognition creates response that's impossible to fake or force or dismiss as just attraction. And here's what's tricky. Not everyone experiences twin flame recognition simultaneously. Sometimes one person feels the full force immediately while the other person experiences attraction or interest, but not the overwhelming recognition. That asymmetry can create confusion, doubt, questioning whether what you're feeling is real or just projection. But asymmetrical recognition doesn't mean the connection isn't real. It just means you're in different phases of readiness. One of you might be further along in your personal development, more open to this level of connection, more prepared to handle the intensity. The other person will catch up, the recognition will equalize. But timing might not be immediate, and that requires patience you might not naturally have when everything in you is screaming that this person matters. This reflection invites you to consider: if you met someone and felt instant, profound recognition, but they seemed less affected, could you trust what you felt without needing them to mirror it immediately? Twin flame connections function as mirrors in ways regular relationships don't, and this is where the discomfort comes in. This person is going to show you every unhealed wound, every limiting belief, every pattern you've been running that keeps you from being fully yourself. Not through criticism or judgment, but through their mere presence triggering everything that needs addressing. Where you're insecure, they'll activate that insecurity. Where you're controlling, they'll resist control in ways that make you face why you need it. Where you're avoiding vulnerability, they'll create situations where vulnerability becomes unavoidable. This isn't malicious, this is how the connection works. Twin flames don't come into your life to make everything easy and comfortable. They come to catalyze growth so rapid, it often feels like destruction. They reflect everything you need to see about yourself that you've been successfully avoiding in every other relationship, every shadow aspect, every disowned part, every potential you've been too scared to claim. And seeing all of that simultaneously is intense in ways that can feel destabilizing if you're not prepared for it. Some people interpret this discomfort as evidence the connection is wrong. They think if this was right, it would feel easier. They expect soulmate connection to be perpetual harmony, constant validation, effortless compatibility. But that's romantic partnership, not twin flame connection. Those are different things, and confusing them leads to misunderstanding what's actually happening. Romantic partnerships can be healthy, sustainable, deeply fulfilling. They're built on compatibility, shared values, mutual respect, genuine affection. They create stable foundation for building life together. They're wonderful, necessary, what most people need and want. Twin flame connections are volatile, transformative, often unstable in traditional relationship sense. They're not about building stable life together. They're about burning down everything that isn't authentic so you can rebuild from truth. Sometimes those functions overlap in same person, sometimes they don't. Sometimes your twin flame is person you're meant to be with. Sometimes they're person you're meant to meet, be transformed by, and then release so you can both continue separate journeys as upgraded versions of yourselves. Both outcomes are valid. Both serve the purpose. Both are gifts, even when one feels like loss. There's a reason this is happening now instead of 5 years ago or 5 years from now. And that reason is simple. You weren't ready before. Twin flame meetings require both people to have reached certain level of individual development, certain amount of healing completed, certain capacity to handle intensity without completely losing yourself in it. If you'd met this person earlier, before you'd done your work, the connection would have been toxic, codependent, destructive rather than transformative. You would have merged instead of mirrored, lost yourselves in each other instead of finding yourselves through each other. But you've been preparing through every relationship that didn't work out, every healing journey you've undertaken, every time you've chosen yourself over comfortable dysfunction. All of it was preparation for being able to handle this connection properly. And they've been preparing too through their own journey, their own lessons, their own evolution. Now, you're both finally at level where meeting can serve growth instead of preventing it, where connection can be transformative instead of destructive, where intensity can be channeled into elevation instead of dissolution. The wait wasn't punishment, it was protection and necessary preparation that you'll appreciate once you're in the intensity and realize how much capacity it actually requires. Meeting your twin flame doesn't mean all your problems are solved, actually. It often means your problems become more visible because now you have mirror reflecting them back constantly. This person is going to trigger you profoundly, repeatedly, in ways that bring up every abandonment wound, every trust issue, every fear of intimacy or commitment or vulnerability you've ever had. And you're going to trigger them equally. Your very existence will activate their unhealed places. Your patterns will clash with their patterns. Your growth edges will press against their growth edges. Some days this will feel like the most profound connection you've ever experienced. Other days it will feel impossible. The challenge is staying present through both extremes without running when it gets hard or clutching when it feels good. Twin flame connections require radical honesty, constant communication, willingness to do your own internal work instead of making the other person responsible for your healing. They require maturity that's rare and difficult. Most people aren't built for it. Most people prefer easier connections that don't demand this level of self-examination. But if you've been feeling like regular relationships aren't enough, like you're capable of deeper connection than you've been experiencing, like you're ready for something that challenges you to become your fullest self. This is what you've been waiting for. Just know it's not going to be easy. It's going to be worth it, but not easy. There will be moments where you question everything, where the intensity feels unbearable, where you wonder if regular love with regular person would have been simpler choice. This reflection invites you to consider, are you actually ready for connection that demands constant growth? Or do you prefer relationships that let you stay comfortable? Twin flame connections exist for spiritual development, not just personal happiness, and understanding that shifts how you approach them entirely. You're not meeting this person so you can ride off into sunset together and never struggle again. You're meeting them because your souls have work to do that requires this specific partnership. Maybe that work is creative. You're meant to build something together that serves beyond just the two of you. Business, art, movement, something that couldn't exist without both of your contributions combined. Or maybe it's healing. You carry complementary wounds that heal through the relationship, and that healing creates capacity to help others heal similar wounds. Maybe it's awakening. You're meant to activate something in each other that's been dormant. Gifts, abilities, perspectives, ways of being that only become accessible through this specific connection. Whatever the purpose, it's bigger than just the relationship itself. This is why twin flame connections often feel fated, destined, orchestrated by something beyond personal choice, because in some sense they are, not by external deity controlling your life, but by deeper intelligence within you that knows what experiences you need for your evolution and creates circumstances that deliver those experiences. Some people resist this level of purpose in relationships. They want love to be simple, uncomplicated, just about two people making each other happy without larger cosmic significance. And that's valid. That's what most relationships are and should be. But twin flame connection isn't most relationships. It's specific type of partnership that serves specific evolutionary function. And if you're being called into one, it's because some part of you is ready for that level of purpose, ready to use relationship as vehicle for becoming more than you could become alone. This reflection invites you to consider what larger purpose might your life be serving that would require this specific type of partnership. For some of you, this person is already in your life, but you haven't recognized them yet. They're the friend you have unusual chemistry with, the colleague you can't stop thinking about, the person who keeps appearing in your orbit through coincidences that feel increasingly orchestrated. Pay attention to who keeps showing up, who you feel drawn to in ways you can't explain, who makes you feel both completely comfortable and slightly nervous simultaneously. That combination, comfort and nervousness, is often an indicator of twin flame energy because they feel familiar and foreign at the same time. For others, they're about to enter, new person arriving through unexpected channel, chance meeting that becomes something significant. Online connection that translates to in-person recognition, introduction through mutual friend who has no idea they're facilitating cosmic reunion. When they arrive, you'll know, not through logic, through feeling, through body response that bypasses rational analysis entirely. And when recognition happens, you have choice. Step toward it or step away from it. Stepping toward it means accepting that your life is about to change dramatically, that comfort is ending, that growth is beginning, that you're entering territory you've never navigated before. It means being willing to be uncomfortable, triggered, challenged in ways that feel almost cruel sometimes, even though they're actually kind in disguise. Stepping away means preserving current stability at cost of profound connection, choosing familiar over transformative, protecting yourself from intensity you're not sure you can handle. And that's valid choice too. Not everyone is meant to take this path, and knowing your capacity, honestly, is wisdom, not weakness. Neither choice is wrong, but only one leads to the evolution you're being called toward. Only one answers the pull you've been feeling. Only one satisfies the part of you that's been restless in every connection that felt close but not quite right. You remain in complete control of how you respond when this person appears. You can engage or retreat, open or protect, say yes or say not now. All valid, all your choice, all honored, regardless of what you decide. The power is yours. It always has been. You may notice reading this has activated something hope mixed with fear, recognition that yes, there is someone who fits this description, or skepticism about whether this level of connection is even real. Maybe you're thinking of specific person, wondering if they're the one. Maybe you're feeling that pull towards someone you've been trying to ignore. Whatever you're feeling, honor it. Take what resonates, softly release the rest, trust yourself. Before we close, I want to ask you something. Do you believe in twin flames, soulmates, or the idea that certain people are meant to find each other? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments. I want to know where you stand on this. And this, if you met someone who felt like profound recognition, would you pursue it even if it meant your entire life changing? Destiny called, and your twin flame is finally here. And whether that means romantic union, creative partnership, spiritual catalyst, or some combination that defies categorization, this connection is going to transform you in ways you can't predict or control. The wait is over. The meeting is imminent or already happening. Not eventually, now. Trust yourself with this. Trust that you're ready even when you feel scared. Trust that intensity doesn't mean danger. Trust that being challenged to grow by someone who mirrors you isn't punishment, it's the greatest gift you could receive. Trust that whatever form this connection takes, it's exactly what you need for becoming who you're meant to be. See you in the next one, and listen. When recognition happens, don't run from it just because it's intense. Intensity is information. It's your soul saying, this one matters. Pay attention to that. Stay open, stay brave, stay ready. Your mirror is arriving. Let them reflect you into wholeness. Take care.